If you wanna buy it.
Okay, first thing up, I wanna talk about, Sue will not be here tonight. It is my belief if we're gonna vote a new trustee to the board, we should have all current board members present.
Right.
That said, we're gonna have to have a special board meeting one night this week, okay? So we need to determine a night when we can have that special board meeting that will work for everybody.
Or
Right.
can we take a consensus right here?
I think we should have all 6 board members present to vote a new person
Yes.
on the board. I believe we should have that. I think that should be, I think that's imperative that we do that.
Okay.
I just do.
When do you think you wanna do
Like I said, let's find out what works for everybody.
Tuesday night's bad for me, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't think anybody wants to do it Friday.
No, it's good for me. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I have stuff going on, but it doesn't, we can do it at 4 o'clock. We can do it at 3. I'll make my schedule fit anybody's, but we got, if we wait till next week, Oakland County appoints our board member, so we're down.
Okay.
We're out of options.
Next Wednesday, the 4th is 4th of July, so we got
Right.
the 3rd, we got the 2nd.
Mhm.
Would you have to do it in June?
What's that?
We have to do it before the 4th
We
of
have to
July.
do it, we have to do it by July 3rd. July 4th is the deadline, and it's a holiday,
Well,
so.
do it Monday.
I can do
Monday.
it any night this week but Friday.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay.
Um,
Doesn't have to be at 6 o'clock, doesn't have to be 5, we can do it 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we can do it anytime during the day.
Thursday at 3 would work
Call a
good for me.
special board meeting, we have to broadcast it 18 hours before to the public.
I can do, what did you say, Wednesday?
Well, Thursday, we got a special planning commission meeting
Planning
at
commission
4
meeting
o'clock.
Thursday.
So you wanna do Thursday at 3?
I can do it Thursday at 3, I'm free, so if everybody else works for everybody else, or 3:30, I mean, that's the only take.
No, 3 would be better, because as long as we're done by 3:30, because I have to pick Justin up by 4, so I could do 3.
Thursday, 3 is good with me, so you guys figure it
Okay.
out.
Does that work
Rest
for
of you guys.
everybody else? Thursday at 3?
Thursday at 3.
Thursday, this Thursday at 3.
Yep.
Is that, are we good on that date? Can we put it in my calendar?
Thursday, 3 o'clock, good for everybody?
Yep,
It's good for me.
Okay.
because it's just to vote on that, right?
That's
Yeah,
it.
so we'll be
Okay.
in and out.
Okay.
We'll be
That's
in
all
and
there
out.
is.
Probably take 10 minutes.
I'll be right back.
That would be the 28th. I'm gonna put it in my calendar.
Probably do it down on the auditorium.
I'm assuming, yeah, proper place.
I don't know what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a special planning commission meeting for the someplace.
Tell them to write a note right now.
You do?
For DTE,
Oh,
city special approval.
right. Oh, there might be some new.
No, no, I wish.
Springs eternal.
Hopefully after this, though, maybe after this one, something will start
I hope so.
snowballing.
And that Bloomfield Park is really starting to move to
I know.
getting the parking in there. Menards is going in there, Aldi's is going in there.
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford Health Systems.
Wow.
They're gonna get that big building attached to the parking.
That's the existing, right, in the back right corner you're looking at?
And a bunch of apartments. I thought they were gonna do a American house. That was gonna be back on the lake. I haven't heard anything more about
That's,
that.
Memory Care Center, right?
I got the information to Shelley, so we're all set, so.
Good.
I have to do roll call.
What's that?
I have to do roll call
Right now?
right now, apparently. I guess this has to be official.
For the clerk's office?
Marla, yeah,
See, right here.
all right, Birch, here. Yes, Thomas,
Yes.
here.
Here.
Okay. Here we go. All right.
Okay, so 3 PM
Yep.
Thursday,
Auditorium?
main auditorium, yeah. But I wanted to make sure Shelley it was open, so. which I figured would be ahead of the PC, special PC meeting would be open.
Yeah, we're gonna go
Just-
upstairs for the first half hour.
You never assume that, because as soon as you assume it, guess what, somebody's gonna do it till 4 o'clock. So,
Yeah. No, that worked good, it works good for me, so everybody else can get away.
Okay, this next thing right now, you guys, the CGI here, they contacted us, and they've done several municipalities. What they do is they create a website. It's a 3 to 5 minute presentation. They'll typically talk to the supervisor, police chief, fire chief, parks director, DPW director, library, chamber. They cover the township budget. Remember the montage we did? They did that, and they go around the municipality and they seek out businesses to sponsor this. It doesn't cost the township anything, you know? And of course, the businesses that are in it, they say they get recognition too during this presentation. But it's a presentation about the community. I'm gonna get the links to the municipalities I have right now, but Gary Allison, I talked to him, he's their cable coordinator. He looked at the Pontiac one and he looked at the Taylor one. He's very impressed with it, and he did his take on it was, after reviewing the documents, website, testimonials, and videos for Pontiac and Taylor, Michigan, I can say that this is a no-risk endeavor for Waterford. They do good work, streamline the process and use for the website, and make it all as painless as possible and at no cost to the township. I see no reason not to go ahead with CGI. That's Gary's take on it, because, you know, he's wonderful putting stuff together and making things happen. Overall, it's about a 6-month process, start to finish. So, the two closest to us are Taylor Pine. They have Battle Creek. He's got a whole list of it. I'll get the list back and send it out to you guys so you can view it and see what you think on it. But I said after talking to Gary, he's the person I went to. It's his field of expertise. He thinks it would be good publicity for Waterford Township and get us out there on the internet in a good way, so.
And who pays for this, all the businesses, you say?
Yeah, they
And
do.
then they feature their business in the
Yeah.
segment there?
Yes,
They
exactly.
come to Waterford, come to Ontario Auto Wash?
Yes.
Um,
Trans Auto
For
Parts,
the-
Burke Lumber,
Okay, yes,
Wimsat
okay.
Lumber, you know, just the Kroger store, whatever it may be. That's how
So
the,
it's really, I mean, there's no,
Brainer, yeah.
there's really no brainer, it's not costing us nothing, but
Nothing.
it's not change. Now, what happens is you have to get so many businesses that are
well,
participating in this?
that's up to them, just like the montage here.
Okay.
They wanted to do the montage here for the township, and they went around until they got enough businesses, and then that was it. That's
Okay.
what they did, so, but that's how they do it.
And they do all the footwork and
We do all the-
everything?
but we don't do nothing but just, like I said, do the interviews and whatnot, so. But like I said, Gary did some research on him, I gave it to him to look at, he did some research
Yeah.
on him, and he talked to Pontiac, I think he talked to Pontiac, Battle Creek and Taylor, he talked to them, and they said, got rave reviews, everything went well, so, but hang in that document, read it over, look it over and see what you think.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like
Is that you, Tony, or is that me?
something,
Well, it seems like something that would benefit us at no cost.
right,
And I say us, meaning the township.
right, so.
Very interesting, and I respect Gary's recommendation or
He
his
briefly
views
talked
on it.
about it last
Yeah.
week.
Oh, did he?
Commission meeting,
Did he?
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, how
the,
did the commission feel about it?
Very, upbeat, very positive about it.
the other footnotes on here, they do 6 videos. They run 6 different videos. They do aerials with drones, their team does all the work. They reach out to all the businesses, start to finish, 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
Like I said, it is, Gary said it's a very quality product, so, but, I'll get them other municipalities, so you guys can go ahead and look at
Yeah,
the
be nice.
program they had, just to see, you know, get a different idea.
Gary, is this a contract factor, this last page here? I see you need a signature for the years.
Yeah, it's an agreement.
And will that, Dory look this
Yeah,
over?
but I wanted to talk to you guys first and
Yeah.
see what you thought of it, and then I'll have Dory look this over. Look at it for legal ramifications, and then see
Yeah.
where we're at. And like I said, I talked to, left messages with Battle Creek and I left messages with Taylor, not heard back from either one of them yet. But they said,
Can you have Shelley maybe email all those websites and just view like
Yep.
Battle Creek Taylor?
go ahead, yep,
Be nice to see what
Yeah.
the quality and
Yep.
what type they do, that'd be good.
yep. Give you that
No, I
information.
think it's a good thing for us.
Yep, I think it'll be, like I said,
Yeah,
hit a home run with it, so.
yeah, good.
Be good for us, and it's good publicity, positive publicity.
It looks like you can view the other ones on their home website.
You can
Last
go to their,
page.
yeah, last page, you can go to their website, and look at them too, yep.
Yep,
Where do you see that, Karen?
Last page.
last page, it's underlined the website.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
now.
Right here, I see it there.
Well, no,
Up, right there.
Oh. I didn't know that
Yeah,
was-
put an asterisk next to that.
Okay.
So,
I'm good, we'll do that. Do that tonight when I get home.
That'll, like I said, that's. But I said, I see that as a positive, so look it over, make sure the legal part of it and stuff, make sure we're good on that and go from there. Okay, I met with the property owners, 7 of the 10 property owners of Brumbies and Dixon.
wow, that's the largest
Yeah.
amount they've ever gotten,
That
good
was on- I think it
job.
was on Wednesday last week, we sat down and met, and they explained to them, okay, we looked at several different possibilities, there's 15 addresses, 14 units, 10 owners, okay? And some of the units are front to rear, you know, they split them in half, and you got building, so, but again, it's one building. It's one tax ID number, but it's 2 addresses, 1 electric meter, and there's 15, but there's only 14 electric meters, 15 addresses, but there's only 14 electric meters, so looking at it and then sorting through all this stuff, so I finally just says, look, let's look at it this way. There's 10 business owners, okay? We're gonna take that, and then Paula gave them the information of what the property, you know, what the assessed value was, what the taxable value is, and what the cost would be split and related to per,
Parcel.
Personal.
no, per business owner.
Oh.
Not per parcel, per business owner.
So if there's 2 in one
Yep.
building,
Yep.
So if they
Okay.
own more than one
So it
parcel.
would be,
so
doesn't matter, it's per business owner, forget
Okay.
about the parcel.
Okay.
There's too many, there's 10 owners, there's 12 something, 14 something, 15
Okay,
something. You
okay.
can wander through numbers all you want. The
She
bottom,
broke it
the
down.
solid
Okay.
number is 10 property owners.
Okay.
okay.
Works out to $6,070 per property or taxable value, okay?
Okay.
That will be attached to the value of your building, okay? But it will not be taxed until that's sold, then it comes uncapped, okay? Now, if you've got 2 units and you sell them separately, now there's 11 owners, just split 11 ways. If it ends up they sell all of it out, it could be up to 15 different owners, potential could eventually be, but we're not gonna delve into that till they sell it and it comes uncapped, okay? So that's the way it's gonna work. It'll be showed on the taxes, but it will not be taxed. It'll be showed on the taxable value, it'll be shown on the assessed value, okay? And as time goes on, that will go up, and then when it sells, it will come on capped, and then that's when it will go to that amount. They will form their own association, LLC,
Are they
whatever
going
it is
to?
they
Oh,
do.
really?
What?
They're gonna do it.
Yes, they're form their, well, 7 of the 10 are, I haven't talked to the other 3.
The other 3 you can't get a hold of, or they're just not responding?
They didn't respond to my email, they didn't respond to Dave's email, so I said for the meeting and stuff,
Okay.
but,
So how are you gonna proceed if they never hop on board?
no,
The other 3?
that's what I got legal counsel looking at right now. Can we do it by a majority? How can we do it? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Majority.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And again, and then look at that, so they'll form their own LLC, they'll have snow removal, they'll do this, they'll do that, and the people don't pay for lawn mowing, snow
Right.
removal, parking lot maintenance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Could that be assessed to them? And I said, well, I don't, that I don't know, would have to be, the lien would have to come from your end, not the township's end.
Right.
Because you're the property owner.
And
We
that's how
are.
they do homeowner associations.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
that's what
right.
they're gonna create, they're gonna create an
That's what
association.
the LLC would be,
Yeah,
basically?
I don't, again, I'm saying LLC,
Oh,
S corp, whatever they would
Yeah,
come up
okay.
with, whatever their group would be.
No, they're, their problem.
And they'll decide, I've got 5 units, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna split it 15 ways, and I'm gonna pay you know, for
Right.
5 of them, not
Yeah.
1 of them, you know what I'm saying?
Has there been a price discussed, you know, I've said sell for $3 or whatever. Did you discuss that with them, and are they receptive to
Yeah.
take the offer?
Hit the jackpot, $2 per property owner.
Okay, good.
Yep. Yep, so
Anybody objecting?
it's almost 7 times.
Yeah.
It's almost 7 times.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, for inflation and stuff.
I would assume everybody's pretty upbeat about it.
They had a lot of questions, you know, worried about stuff, and then, you know, the one guy hit units, it's his man cave, you know what I'm saying, but he said, what the heck, you know? He said,
Well, yeah,
I said, I stopped by, in the Memorial Day parade, I had stopped by, had to use the restroom there, I said, next time you just need to charge people for using the restroom to generate revenue, to offset your taxes, so, but.
What business is that?
It's not a business, it's just a man cave.
guy has a little
Just- he's got a
building there,
building
wants to get
there.
away from his
It's his
wife
bank.
and hang out, bring his buddies out
So
there.
there's no business in there?
No,
Okay.
no. And there's 2 more people working in
look
Oakland
puzzled
County
over
right
there.
now.
Well, what about the zoning? I mean, I don't, can you just
Right.
buy property and hang out?
Why can't you?
My neighbor does.
You
I
pay
mean-
your taxes?
He grows
Well,
pot,
zoning,
does
is
all
it
kinds of stuff in his
zone
building.
residential or just, is it zone man cave? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, no, the
No, I
building.
understand your concern, but should it be a boutique or something like that, I mean,
Well, again,
But-
the people there to become, the people own the buildings need to become creative. It's 2018, you know what I'm saying? That you go back years ago, I went in, there was a car dealership, Lakeland Record Shop, Wilmar Bakery, Pauley Insurance Agent, Pontiac State Bank, Jerus Market. I didn't think it was Harvey's Office Supply back in when I was a kid or not, I can't remember, but it was different businesses, okay, but there's, last time I looked, there was still donut shops around. You know, and then there's real
Like
estate
we used to
offices,
call it
and there's
bakery.
accounting offices, and they don't have record shops anymore, but I can remember when the Beatles record would come out, you'd be lined up from the front of there all the way down to Fremby's, and by the time you got up there, they were sold out of that record, so you had to wait till, by the time that one came out, another one was out, and they were lined up, you know, you were always one record behind. But
no, I understand your concern, Karen, but, you know, look at it another way, this guy could be growing marijuana, so, you know what I'm saying, something in there,
Right.
as long as he's not, you know, he's not really bothering anybody, so.
Well, we had the gypsies that were in the other place that were living there and
There
hanging
were
out.
people living
Yeah.
there, and they
Right.
had their dogs there, and they had 5 unlicensed vehicles.
Oh, right,
Well,
oh,
excuse me,
absolutely.
2 of them were licensed, they had Texas plates on them, but they
Okay.
expired in the
that's-
parking
Well,
lot.
that's what we
Right.
don't wanna see, something
Right,
like that. I
yeah.
had that in the corner of West End and Elizabeth Lake there, the old veterinarian shop there, the gypsies were living in there.
Yeah,
And they actually, the owner of the place now, the grandparents were living in there until code enforcement found out, and
because you
they had,
can't
it was
live
so it's
there.
empty now.
Right,
It's
okay.
up for sale.
Well, it took us a while to get that one straightened out.
Yeah, but it's just straightened out now, you know, we cut the grass with my place, parking the parking lot now. So we
Yeah.
got a good working relationship with them. And then, property over there, when do you think, this can be finalized?
As soon as I
Is it
get back from Dover.
Get it out of our hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
I got him looking at that, like I said, and that's done, and then, like I said, and I talked to Dover, and I'll talk to you guys too, I believe the fact that they're taking that over, we need to give them, and that we don't write citations for seal coating, pothole patching, striping, we don't write violations for none of that stuff. I did get over at mowing company, they don't have the one L-shaped curve island up there, they haven't been mowing, I have no idea why, but when I left the meeting, I went out into Signet and I saw that, so I called right then, told Kirk. Kirk got a hold of Corky, and Corky got a hold of
Well,
mowing
do we
company.
really, do we write citations for parking lots, Scott?
No,
I was
see,
saying,
we
'cause
don't,
some
but
place mall,
they had a
we'd be
concern,
bombarding them with
that
them.
was a concern
Oh, I
of
see,
theirs,
okay.
not ours, and I told
Yeah.
him, but as far as the mowing, maintenance of the buildings, you know what I'm saying?
appearance of
We're gonna
everything,
give
yeah.
them a period of time
Yeah.
to get
that's fine.
stuff up to code.
I think that's fair.
So,
That's very, very fair. The sooner the better we get it out of our hair.
okay.
Now, would they hire a lawyer to form their LLC, their
That's up to them,
association?
yeah, that's not the township,
Okay.
yeah, whatever their association.
They never
decide
spoke,
on.
you said they had
They
questions.
did it before, that's how they used to, I said,
Okay.
you know, until the issue came up about metered parking and stuff, I never knew we owned the parking lot. I had no idea. You know, I asked, why do we have metered parking under ordinance? We're a township, we're not a city. And went back to 1953 when we bought that, and there was no metered parking, and Drayton Plains was a thriving metropolis, and they wanted to buy the parking lot across from East too. They wanted to buy that and do metered parking, so. The original offer for that property was $503, and we ended up getting it for $3, so. But they never did do the parking meters, never did, so then once I found out we owned it, then it's our responsibility to mow it, plow it, maintain it, so we started doing that, and it's a loser, but at the same time, those businesses cannot function with it, right? That parking is for those businesses, it's not metered parking for the township like they'd originally fathomed, you
They'll
know,
still, and
before I was born.
I'm glad they're putting this together and it's getting off of our hands, but 2-3 years back, there was an abandoned, hot tub. And there were some cars parked back there that were just like dead and parked back there, so we still have the right to patrol that like we would any parking lot, because you can't just do blight, correct?
We no longer own the parking lot.
Right.
No. If the people call and complain,
Right.
if it's private parking, you can park there 24/7, 365,
Okay,
okay? But the plates have to be
right,
licensed.
right, okay.
The
And you can't
vehicles
have,
have
you
to be
can't have.
road ready.
and you
If
can't
it doesn't
have
have a
lights.
hood, doesn't have a motor, doesn't have tires, doesn't have a
Right, right.
windshield,
It's an
doesn't have
ordinance,
license plates,
right.
any of
But you
those
can't do an
things.
abandoned
Or a
hot
house,
tub or a
no,
broken
No,
down
no,
RV,
no,
okay.
you can't do that.
All right.
But like I said, 5 of those vehicles we towed to our impound
Right,
lot.
right,
And then sent them 20 days later, took right to title and sent them off to auction and auctioned them off.
okay.
Because they were abandoned on township property. We have enforceability on that.
Oh,
You know, if somebody abandons a vehicle in your driveway, that's your responsibility. You own that property. That's up to you. You can call the police, file a complaint, whatever
Okay.
you want to, but that vehicle was abandoned on your property. This is public property here. so.
okay.
I've had that at the car wash, come in his car there, sat there for 2 days, and call up a tow truck,
And they come to the,
and all the other, you say it's
We
on
can't
private
order that. You
property.
have to order
Okay.
that.
all right.
So, let me see if there's anything else. We went over that. Went over the trustee, went over the frontage lot, so that's what I had notes on right there. So, Steve, do you have anything?
The only update I had was, you're aware that, the property in Woodbine, that house trailer parked on it for the last umpteen years. I notified Kurt Simpson, and he went and checked it.
House trailer or a travel trailer?
Yeah, apparently at one time, the daughter bought that, put it on the lot because her parents were sick. She lived in that while she was taking care of the parents. Apparently the husband died, so now they can get rid of the trailer, but Kurt went over there a week or 2 ago, said the place is deplorable, there was just trash everywhere, the entire property pieces. And he talked to them and they're gonna take care of it, get rid of everything, clean it up.
Okay.
So hopefully he doesn't follow through on it, because I have friends that live behind that house, and they've been, when they sit in the backyard, they see the top of that travel trailer, and they've been seeing it for years. It's crazy.
Is that on the lakefront, Steve, or is that,
No, it's on
where-
Woodbine, which is
right off
one
of
street
Moore's?
over. Yeah, it's one street north, I should say, north of Sylvan Shores, which goes along the
Okay.
water. Yeah.
My understanding was travel trailers weren't illegal. My neighbors had one for years that we didn't like.
What is it?
Travel
Travel
trailers, as
trailer.
long as they're parked on the pavement, they're not
They're not
illegal.
supposed to be. They're gonna be
Yeah, but this
sued.
one, they had a fire pit out in front, I mean, out there.
People are actually living in it, that's a big no-no.
Right.
Somebody's parking the trailer there and cleaning it out and getting ready to go up north or something like that, you know, that's no big deal, but when
It
you're
hasn't,
living out of
it
it,
has
it's
not moved.
extension
Well, there
cords
you
coming
go,
from the
I'm
house,
sure
that's
that
a
violates
problem.
it.
Yeah, it's a big problem, when they've got the barbecue pit out there and all that kind of stuff, well, that can be a problem. So is Kurt say, when are they gonna get it out?
He's gonna monitor it because he wants to give him time. He might give him 30 days to basically take
Okay.
care of everything. There's a lot of trash.
It's been a couple of years.
No, that's a problem, you don't want
Yeah.
to see that kind of stuff there.
That's all I had.
Hey, Tony?
Well, you're pretty easy. I'm just, where are we with trash haul, the city trash haul, are we overdoing anything?
No, 'cause like I said, we're gonna do we're gonna do the legwork ourselves and determine what we want out of the ordinances we want, the ordinances we don't. Now, we have copies of the ordinances, everybody looked at them yet?
Yeah, because he was
Yeah.
waiting for everybody to mark them in and turn
We
them.
marked
Yeah.
them
Well,
up
we
like
already,
mine.
yeah, I did mine.
Yeah. Mine are marked up and turned into her two, are yours?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Mine, basically, I like West Bloomfield's ordinance, I see a couple things in there, I'm trying to, I think the snowbird thing, I think West Bloomfield has like for 3 months or something like that, I thought maybe 6 months would be more fair, but I didn't really make too many changes on that West Bloomfield, I really like their,
6 months, you gotta flip the coin and decide where you're a resident, either
Right.
Florida or Waterford.
Yeah, they have that
yeah,
stipulation.
okay, and West Bloomfield, I think it's 3 months, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows that people usually go for the winter and come back here in the summertime, so
Right.
I thought 3 months is a little too tight, 4 months, who knows, 5 months. But, no, that's all I got, just curious where we are with that, and
Yeah, get mine all
If it's
marked up and
moving
turned into her, and like I said, election time, stuff going on, there's a lot going on, a lot of training with the new equipment. Two of our voting locations have been closed, so they've been sent working because they're redoing the school district parking lots and stuff, so
Oh.
they'll be open for the general
Oh.
election, but they won't be open for the primary, so.
Okay, so
And get
it's
notification out to all the people at those precincts where they're gonna have to go to vote, so.
like Haviland, like God, that place
Yeah,
is
what about
full.
there?
Yep.
Well, that's one of the voting polls, that's two,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
that's 2 precincts
West
over there.
Bloomfield and a Waterford.
And that's all tore up, I just went by there the other day.
Where is?
Haviland,
White Lake and Waterford.
No, on the corner of Cooley and
you,
Castle
Castle
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
What's, is it
Have-
Houghton? Houghton's on?
That's
Elizabeth-
Haviland School.
No,
Which one's on Elizabeth Lake Road then?
Houghton.
That was that.
Is that Houghton?
that's Holton where they play ball, and that's half White Lake?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
That's
Holton.
Holton.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
on the White Lake side,
and that's all tore up too.
and that's closed up too? That one's closed?
Well, yeah, I believe it
I mean,
is.
for the primary, it's gonna be shut down?
Because, I don't know if we vote there or not, because that's in White Lake Township, so it's a Waterford school, it's
Yeah.
Waterford School
No,
District, but
we
it's in White
don't,
Lake
I've
Township.
never
I don't believe
seen
there's a
a
poll there.
precinct there that, you know, with signs
I,
and
it
everything.
Haviland, I think it's West Bloomfield uses it for voting and Waterford.
I don't know about that, I know
It could
Waterford,
be.
but that's 2 precincts for Waterford that have land.
What's the school that they
Okay.
tore down on? What's the right?
That was Bert, well,
That's Waterford Township,
Yeah.
I didn't know, I didn't know West
Bert,
Bloomfield voted
Belt was
there.
down, South Winding, I think, that's.
I'd have to ask Sue on that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but Haviland's tore up, they're putting a big addition on the back of there too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna
And
be
they're
a
putting a big
mess.
addition on the
That's gonna
back
be a
of
mess all
Houghton.
summer.
They're putting a big
What's
addition
the
on the back
one
of
that's
Houghton.
on also like Road across from Pontiac Country Club?
That's a private, that's private,
It's a
that's
church,
school
isn't
district,
it?
that's the old Stringham School, and that's,
Oh.
yeah, that's owned by a charter school now.
Charter.
They tore the old school down, the old two-story part in the front of the building is down, and all the newer part in the back, they're gonna renovate that, and that's gonna be a charter school. It was a church school for a
Yeah.
while.
Yes.
But-
I- That's at the end of my room. To the left of.
Yeah, coming out of, by the country club there.
I
Is
know
that where you
that-
voted? You go vote there?
No, I voted at, the one on 59.
United
Church.
Methodist?
Yeah, the church.
It's United Methodist, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I vote.
KJ, seriously?
Seriously?
All right.
Wow.
Martin?
Life
I
is
don't have
good.
anything.
Nothing, all the stuff that's going on, I'm here till 7 or 8 o'clock every day of my life, and I'm here at 6:30 in the morning. And you
You
guys
guys making
want
stuff up?
I mean,
Fire
we had-
up,
we had a
let's go.
good CBA meeting.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that at the regular board meeting. Just
Okay.
Bore the hell out of the general public. with that
Okay,
one.
there we go.
We got the special planning commission meeting
Thursday.
Thursday
Right.
for, someplace more than DTE there. Site plan looks very nice, the building, everything, that what they wanna do is very, very nice. There's a few concerns that we have with shading the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
If we get that worked out, I think it's gonna be a very, very good project over there.
It's more storage, it's not equipment, it's not vehicles and stuff.
No,
like
no, no,
that.
I'm sorry, like spools
Yeah.
of wire,
Yes.
transformers, that kind of ugliness that you see in Sylvan Lake, all
Okay.
over the place.
All right,
If we get that worked out with them,
That's a goal.
it'd be nice.
yeah.
No more someplace more, I haven't seen no life over there, I remember I was telling you about those hawks flying around, Well, yeah, I
Hmm?
threw the helicopter over there. And
Helicopter.
no dead bodies over there.
Has any update on Raybar? He's just
No, the last I knew, they had a buyer,
Right,
and the buyer is out of town, and the real estate broker's out of town.
Oh,
So,
okay.
real estate broker's coming back into town, he'll be at work on the 5th of July. He said he'd get ahold of me the 5th or the 6th, and then I will discuss with him where they're at, what happened, what's going on, due diligence, on and on and on.
any
and on.
update on the
On the what?
court process?
No, just so you said that's in circuit court.
We're just
so,
waiting for a date. Okay.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Typically, this isn't Q and A, it's a chance for the board to talk, but
Okay.
yes, you can.
I'm just curious about the block grant funds and the public hearing tonight,
The block grant.
There's
isn't it?
on the agenda.
On the
C-
agenda.
CDBG?
Right.
Okay, they'll do a presentation at the board meeting.
Who's gonna do the,
Our township engineer, head of development
Okay.
services, Rob Marinsky.
okay. Is that gonna have an effect on the senior center and the bus service?
No.
Is that gonna have an effect on the senior center bus?
Yeah.
Yeah, positive effect, yes.
Okay.
Yep, it will have a positive effect.
And will they talk about that tonight?
Yep, yep.
Okay. Will it be anything conclusive, or?
Well, like I said, he has to submit the report for approval,
I
but he's got,
understand.
he's got everything laid out the way it is, and it's all within the parameters and the rules and regulations of it.
Okay,
Yep, there's different components there that you can,
right.
Put
I've
money
studied
towards
it, so
so, like, we're gonna do $50,000, I think it's $50,000 for sidewalk replacement
Right.
in CDBG areas.
right,
Then we can take the other 45,000, so
Right.
we're gonna do 95,000 this year rather than 45,000.
Right.
But that has to be in the CDBG designated areas, then we take the 45 out of the area and do it in other areas in the
Sure.
township. And I know it doesn't fix everything, but it fixes something.
okay,
You know, and we had an independent company come in, and they drove all 860,000 feet of sidewalks in Waterford Township. They
Right.
drove every inch of it. They did a video of it, every sidewalk they were on, and then they determined 1 through 10, whichever was the worst, whichever
Right.
was the best. It's not politically motivated, it's not motivated by the biggest business or
Sure.
most wealthiest homeowner. It's all an independent study, and they determine what needs to be fixed first. Now, as long as a concrete company is in an area, they may fix something that's not the worst, but rather than, paying them $8 a foot to do the concrete replacement here, or have them drive all around the township and pay them $11 a square foot and get less, we'll have some other things addressed in that general area. So the secondary stuff they replace may not be the worst, but it's still bad enough, and they're in that area, so they do it, we get a bigger bang for our buck
Sure.
that way, so. Private sector mindset, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Get all you can get for your dollars.
Sure.
Yep, yep. So, yeah, but that's gonna be presented at the board meeting, Rob's gonna do a presentation on that,
okay, great,
Yep.
thanks.
so. Okay,
What's the ruling on sidewalks? Some subdivisions have them and some don't.
Just depends when the subdivision was built.
Mine doesn't.
Mine doesn't either.
mine doesn't either, I don't have streetlights either, so, yeah.
The
The
building-
new subdivisions are coming in now where you're required to put sidewalks, at least on one side, just depends on
But
on
not
the plan.
maintain them. They put them in and then they leave.
Well, usually associations take, mostly associations
They cover it, yeah.
But as long as they have the mindset of planting maple trees in the green belt between the sidewalks and the curb, you'll continue heaving sidewalks, tearing out curbs, roots getting into the storm drains and plugging them up, and on and on and on. And they've been doing that. When I started in the construction business in 1972, they were doing it in developments down in the south end of Oakland County. They were doing it
Who requires
like a
that?
bad disease that spread north and come right up through here. And by the late 70s, every municipality that was developing subdivisions, they had to be curb, gutters, storm sewers, retention ponds, underground utilities, the big three, gas, electric, and
Who makes
telephone.
those rules though? Who requires that?
What's that?
To put the maple tree in?
usually the planning commission.
Is that what
Yeah,
it
but
is?
they go before, they want it in there, and so the trees just grow up and the
Have
roots
you
eat
guys
up the
seen any of
sidewalks.
those?
Well, we're not doing
Because
that, but our
of the
planning,
use of
I mean,
curbs.
since I've been in the planning commission, no,
That
we're
hasn't
not,
been done.
we're getting away from all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
Okay.
ridiculous, it's
Yeah.
just,
Oh, sure. I
Maple roots
completely
run
understand
horizontal.
logic,
They don't-
yeah.
You
they
see it
go
all
up.
over the place, that's why these sidewalks are heaving up, because just like it says,
Right.
And again, it looks beautiful, it's this little skinny 6-foot-high maple, they're always make cute, look at it growing here and stuff, and then as it grows up, the roots go out, and the
Right.
sidewalks raise up, and it's a nightmare. but they just need, you know, and then they become visual obstruction, become a walking obstruction. You know, you gotta ease out into the street to see around it, and then, you know, it's in front of your house, but here, it'll take longer to call and be put on hold than it would to take the pruners out and cut 3 or 4 limbs off and be done with it, you know?
You're right.
So, but it just, that's the way it is, it's just,
Well, I'm glad it's not happening in Waterford anymore.
you know, so.
We're on top of it. And with the sidewalks too, you know, we're requiring them to put sidewalks in. We had an issue with Steve Proctor over off Airport Road. He didn't want to put sidewalks on both sides there. Well, he didn't tell the whole truth when he came in, and then at the end of the meeting, he didn't like what he heard about it. He's doing it.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, pedestrian pathways, non-motorized pathways, you know, sidewalks, they all kinds of different names, but like I said, so you get away from that, and you're, like I said, you're gonna eliminate, I mean, stuff's gonna wear out eventually.
Well,
You're
down the
gonna
road,
extend the
they'll
life.
preventive maintenance. And
Yeah.
just why put
Midland
it there when
uses
you're gonna
ginkgo
put-
trees.
What's that?
Downtown Midland uses ginkgo trees. They're slow growing and they don't have as big a root
The
system.
roots are.
That's
Yeah,
what-
but still, in ice storms, the limbs break off, windstorms, they blow over if they're not there. Even there's this other, you know, like I said, there's visual obstruction for blocking that. I mean, how many subdivisions you go in, the limbs are grown over the street signs, and you gotta drive beyond and look
Yeah.
back at the other side of the sign so you can see it to find out where you're at. So I mean, just, there's, you know,
Right.
and then not to mention the leaves that don't get raked up, you know, and they go down and they pile up over the storm drain,
Right.
like in Drayton Woods on
So are you
Dead Man's Hill coming
suggesting
down.
no trees?
Yeah, not in the right of ways, no.
Not in the right of way, no.
Right of ways. Yeah, if it's in somebody's yard, they don't wanna rake their yard up, that's another whole thing, but, yeah, I've been out.
Couldn't put pimples all along Hospital Road.
Since
That's
I've been
what
in
Forrest
office
Village-
3 times up in Drayton Woods and Dead Man's Hill, I've gone up on my own time with the
No
township
two leaves are the
DPW
same.
truck and cleaned all those
I mean,
storm drains out.
it
Yeah,
has
that's
individual-
RCOC right
It's
away,
full of veins.
Yeah.
they don't take care of them, and that
Yeah,
water
yeah.
goes
I
beyond.
know,
Yeah.
that's a big issue in
Cause
the
you know,
nature center
you
meeting.
come down the hill, and those storm drains, they kick off to the side.
I
where
know,
the house-
and it
Well,
floods.
it just pushes right, and I mean,
Yeah.
the first time I went over there was stuff growing like 7 or 8 feet tall, so it didn't just pop up overnight.
Actually, it's
No.
pretty bad right now, at our next nature
Right.
center meeting, we're having a drain commissioner come and address it.
What?
I have a ginkgo.
Because they're
tree
saying
in my
that
backyard.
we needed one of them cleaned out,
Uh-huh.
How long?
and Murray Day called the drain commission, and they said it's not qualified, it's not bad enough yet.
You need the drain
All
itself cleaned out, or
25
the
years
catch
ago.
basin on top
Worry
going out?
about it?
I
No,
think it's a dual problem,
I'd like to
because
plant
it's
some
causing
trees.
it
Yeah,
to
It's got
flood
that
because.
it's into the
yeah,
infrastructure
Right,
now. Okay.
so, Linda,
I remember
From
Old
Genesis,
Town,
what's
we
her
had
name?
a big one out the front.
Who's the contact?
Linda, I know
Oh,
what you're talking about.
Zabe.
Zabe.
And that's
Yeah,
where
Linda
it
Zabe.
was.
She had a contact that she's gonna get a drain commission
But
to
they're
come
slow
talk to us.
growing. They're like
And
the
we're gonna
oldest
show it to
living
them.
tree.
Typically, those are Oklahoma Road Commission
They
drains.
call the
Yeah,
road
you
commission,
realize
and they
some
refer them to the
people
drain
come in.
commission.
There's people call with road complaints, they're referring to Waterford Township.
Mine's
So,
not
well, we'll find out,
But I'm just saying, it's just,
so we'll find out, so maybe,
yeah, but
You won't have to do
typically,
that.
typically your
No two leaves the
ditches and your
same.
catch basins in the road right away are, I know like MDOT and stuff, you want the drain.
I'll let you know in the next meeting if you come.
No, I'm just trying to
I
tell you
thought-
what information I have. So, I know when we had the problem over there at Alyssa Lane and Cass Lake Road. I built I think I framed the first 5 houses in that sub over there, and it was a retention pond that had a spillway over on the end of it, like that, a natural spillway, got a certain height that went over, went into the ditch, went along there before his house was built back there, and then went into a culvert and went into Otter Lake.
Oliver's Point.
And it was like that forever.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
like that. Well, when they built the sub, they came up with the idea that they would take that bank around the back and build it all up the same height over there. And they had some small trees, I think we ran them houses in like 83 or 84. Had some small trees and stuff around it, and they put, they put a concrete block structure in there with a beehive cone on top, and the water got up to a certain height. Then it ran in there, ran out, but it wasn't broken before, but they fixed it, they got it all fixed, so. This guy in the corner house there calls me up, and he says, I've got water 6 feet from the back of my house, and my shed in the back of the yard's under 16 inches of water. So I'll flood this. So I went over and looked at it, went around Oliver's Point Drive there and looked in there, and trying to figure out, you couldn't see the structure, couldn't see anything, so got ahold of the road commission, it wasn't their problem. All the houses up in ELEIA, that all comes down and drains down in there and comes under the road in a 24-inch culvert into that pond, and it comes down Cass Lake Road, comes down Castle Elizabeth, that water all comes, that's where it comes to, goes into Otter Lake. Last time I checked, those were all road commission streets, but it wasn't their responsibility, so I called the Oakland County Drain Commission, they said it's the road commission's responsibility, so I called Waterford DPW, and they went over
took care of
there.
the problem.
And they went over and lifted all the brush and stuff that had filled up that stuff. Guess what was on top of that concrete structure right there? The side of a grocery shopping cart. That was the structure on top of that, was the side of a grocery shopping cart. Okay, I told the DPW, you guys take pictures of it. It's supposed to be, you know, a beehive, you know, one of your,
Right?
so excited. So they got in there, we got it all off of there, water rushed in. We jetted it out on the other side, went in the ditch, so 2 or 3 days it all got down where it's supposed to be, and then we got a hold of a person at the road commission that's willing to work with us, and between them guys and our guys, we got it up. Got a structure on top was supposed to be, cut all the remaining trees and brush out there that were a problem. The ones that were hanging over and gonna fall next year and create the problem again. And took care of it, so that's, I have no idea, that's what was on there, was the side of a grocery cart.
And Mr. Oliver was worried about that because it went underneath his driveway, and he's worried about flood,
Sure.
and he's an older man, if
Right.
he had to get EMS, they couldn't get him.
Yeah.
They put a second culvert in too, when they built that structure, they put a second culvert. When he built his house, they put a second culvert in there, and it was,
Going into Otter Lake, correct?
yeah, it was kind of funny, because they were jetting out the one culvert, and water was washing back out of the other one. I'm saying, this doesn't make sense. So there had to be a hole in there somewhere that went through, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah,
But it
okay.
was just goofy. They got it, we jetted it out, got it all jetted out, so it works fine, it worked fine ever since. But it was just something that needed to be addressed and taken care of, and like somebody got within 6 feet of the back of the guy's house now. Gets any higher, it's gonna flood, it's gonna be a disaster, and we gotta take
I
care of it.
understand his concern, you know,
So, and then periodically, when people have problems and stuff, and RCOC stuff's broken down, whether it's their tree trucks or their jet evactors or whatever, we'll go and take care of that stuff too, to work with them on it, get it done. Because it isn't a matter about a governmental entity servicing people, it's everybody servicing the people. We have the equipment, we have the manpower to do it, so we do it. There are residents, you know, we go over and jet stuff out and get it cleaned out, but, you never know. I know we had the flooding over there off of Pontiac Lake Road and behind Mott and down in there.
that one home over there by Watkins Lake Road.
Yeah, the road commission replaced a culvert on Watkins Lake Road, they replaced a culvert on Scott Lake Road, and it collapsed. And a lot of that flooding went away because the water could now get out of there, but it was coming down there, nowhere to go, so it was backing up.
Well, wasn't that one house getting flooded all the time? The one almost next to the property of Matt there,
Oh, yeah, that one.
Oh, no, that one, no, I'm
That's
talking,
something
I'm
different.
talking back up Pontiac Lake Road. Not on
Oh,
Scott
Pontiac,
Lake,
I'm sorry,
up
okay,
Pontiac
Pontiac
Lake
Lake
Road.
Road.
Those lots all go down, that's a
Okay.
lowland, and behind Mott up in there.
yeah.
And that water was nowhere to go, it couldn't get under there and get away. And I said, and I think it ends up probably over in Scott Lake or in Loon Lake,
Oh,
one or the
wow.
other. And then
Okay.
that's where they eventually gonna run off to, but it couldn't get under the road ditch. It's 18 or 24-inch culverts.
Really?
They cut them
Okay.
out, replaced them, and that took care of like 90% of the problem there, so.
That's that for.
Oh, that was a nightmare, that was at
That one home.
1999.
Oh, you got that area over there too by Tim Hortons in front of Kmart, the old Kmart there.
Right.
That's always flooding out over there when we get a lot of excess rain.
Yeah, that was 2013, that big, remember we got that 5 inches of
Yeah.
rain in about 45 minutes?
Yeah.
That, I mean, there was water everywhere. I mean, eventually the water's going into the lake, we know that, or the Clinton River, which
Yeah,
will
but
go into
until
the
then,
lake,
it's destroying all
something,
that
but in
stuff.
the meantime.
Right.
And again, the drains are old, the infrastructure's old, it's just, there's nowhere for that stuff to go when it fails. And I know that ditch out in front of the old Kmart there in front of, there's a big mound of dirt right in the middle of the ditch. I noticed on Earth Day I was over there, it's a big mound of dirt.
Really?
Yep, next Friday you're by there, as you get towards the first entrance into
And going to
the lot.
Kmart U-Haul there.
Yep, look at that. There's
So
a-
it's blocking,
there's a
it's
big
going
mound.
underneath the driveway, the drain.
No, it's just in the ditch, it's not in front of the culverts, right in the ditch though, but water's gotta go around that to get to it. And I gotta believe that the infrastructure of those drains is probably about shot, you know,
Oh, sure.
culverts are metal. They last so long, then they rust out.
Right. But that's always a
They've
big
been
problem.
mulching that property pretty nice, planted a bunch of lilies and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're cleaning up, the big, all those Phragmites out there, always is
They
Phragmites.
got-
Red and whiteys have taken over everywhere,
they're bad.
everywhere.
Yeah.
across the
I
state.
tell you where they're bad, up northern Logan County, they're horrible up in there, up in like Brandon and Addison and Groveland and Holly up
It's
there.
almost like, what are you gonna do?
They're just horrible. Well, you gotta treat them and keep treating them and keep treating them and.
It's like they're out of
That's
control.
And that
the
reminds
battle
me-
you ain't gonna win,
I
I mean, to
know.
continue. it's
This
like-
isn't Waterford, but on the corner of Dixie and 75, they've been clearing that land. What's going on in there,
Oh, it's a
Residential development.
big development, it was a big controversy and over in
you know? What is it,
Independence.
residential?
Yeah.
Yeah, big residential development in there, yeah.
So it must be an extension of that Deer Lake Estates or something?
I don't think,
I don't
it's
think
its own
it's a
separate,
new-
its
it's
own
a new
separate.
builder,
It's
yeah.
its own separate, yeah.
I wouldn't want to live that close.
No.
I mean, I'm
Developer
probably
must know
landscape
something
permit,
because
but-
you
It was,
build-
it was a big controversy, because the people that lived in that neighborhood,
Sure.
those are high-end, really nice homes, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
thought that they were buying.
I wouldn't want to
Forest.
live down in
Yeah.
Detroit in a concrete jungle, you know, people are moving down there like
If
crazy.
it's
you know.
private property,
They're
it's for
putting,
sale, so
The
don't
high rises
ever
down
think-
there and they're putting in the lofts and stuff, that's
Oh,
becoming
yeah, I
very,
was
very
down there this
popular.
morning and building a big, huge high-rise between the Fisher Building and Henry Ford.
Yep.
What do they call it?
You know, people got different-
Condos.
Yep, it's all residential, that whole thing is. Then you get down there, I remember with the Comerica Park there, all those those lots, it used to be parking down there. I'm sorry, they're all under development right now.
Yeah.
And again, that said, and you got, what comes through there, is that 96 that comes through there?
94,
94 by the Fisher Theater, or by the,
94, 75.
you know,
For sure, I thought
No,
it
70.
was 10, was a lodge.
No,
Well, I get off at, when I go to my offices in the Fisher Building, I get off at Pallister,
Oh,
which is off of,
good
A
behind
lot.
Ford Hospital.
okay,
So
right,
that's
top the lodge.
yeah.
there's roads everywhere down there, it's, like I said, it's asphalt, concrete.
Have you
jungle
been to
down
the
there.
train station?
No, I want to.
I wanted to before they start.
And then, you know,
They haven't started on that yet?
Not yet, they
Really?
keep having public parties, you just have to RSVP, and I think it's just a viewing,
Yeah, that's all it is.
so
Yeah.
before
What are they
they.
doing there?
Ford bought
Ford
it.
bought
Ford one,
They're
Ford
trying
one.
to
they're
jump
gonna,
us
they're
this.
gonna move in one of their groups. They're gonna complete, it's gonna take years,
Yeah.
like 5 years, to completely renovate it. And they're talking about geothermal.
Oh,
So
really?
air conditioning, heat that
I
building.
didn't know that there was that much
Where's the
geothermal
water
activity
coming
in
from?
Michigan.
I saw a rendering of where they're out in that parking lot area. They're gonna.
Are there a lot of hot spots?
Apparently.
The geologist out there?
It must be perfect. But Albert Kahn building was bought, somebody bought that, over behind the Fisher Building. They're gonna put retail on the ground floor, 200 lofts or apartments.
Wow, because that Fisher building was so dead after Gino.
What building is that?
Albert Kahn building, it's right behind Fisher Building.
Okay,
And
200
Albert Kahn's
lofts.
offices in there, they moved, they're in our building, our Fisher Building, they moved upstairs. But everywhere you look, they're building, and it's the millennials, they're moving down there. They love it, they don't, some of them don't even cars anymore. They don't
Right.
need 'em.
Till they have babies and then it's sad.
No car insurance, no car payment.
Oh, sure.
And they've got buses and they got the Q line.
what are millennials, 1968 on, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
What?
Whoa,
What?
gosh.
It's
no.
95,
95,
1990.
90, yeah.
What was the one that the baby boomers in?
Oh,
We're baby
baby
boomers.
boomer, you guys are
We're baby boomers, Gary.
1950?
Our kids, dude.
Oh, our kids?
Yeah.
Oh, we're Xers.
What are you guys?
I'm Generation X.
Generation
Yeah,
X,
like you,
right.
Generation X,
I'm not a
I'm a
millennial.
baby boomer.
Millennial are like Mark's kids and my kids.
mid-90s on,
Yeah, late 80s to 90s, yeah.
okay. Interesting,
Or the old generations.
okay.
We're the sarcastic generation.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
The sarcastic.
That's what they say, we're a bit,
Jaded.
say, jaded, I don't know, or sarcastic and a little,
So
yeah,
68 to 88 then.
dark humor.
88, 88, oh, yeah,
No,
so,
that's 68, from 50, what? Explain.
Baby
to
boomers,
46
baby boom,
to-
yeah.
46 to 60.
It's
46 to
late
60?
40s
To
to
60.
60,
Right after World War II.
right.
That's
No.
the baby boomers.
For 46.
Well, yeah, I think it was late
Husbands came
40s.
back from the war and the babies started.
Yes,
Right
that
after
was, the
Right.
yes.
46, so.
right.
The
But they
60s.
only took that to 1960?
Really?
14
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
They figured kids would start reproducing at 14 and that would start the next
Well,
generation.
depending on part
Well,
of the
if you
country you're
were,
in
if
too.
you
I
were
thought it
born
was
in
65.
48, I
I
thought
thought it was
it was 65.
65 or 68 was the end of the baby boomers from World War
You
II.
don't know if you're a
64.
baby boomer?
We are.
No, I
yeah,
am, I'm
I am.
1954,
You're
I know that.
1954,
My old
okay.
man spent 41 months over in World War II, and said, I know for a fact I was a baby boomer.
Okay.
I didn't get it,
Well,
just
you
wanted
just
me
wanted
upside
me to
the head.
clarify
Make
all the
sure.
generations.
No, but I'm just seeing what year it went to, so.
I think it
19.
went to 64.
Okay,
You could
baby
probably
boomer.
Google it. There we go.
Here you go.
Baby boomer, 1946. Generation
Oh,
X,
there you go.
1965.
65.
see?
Xennials,
I was spot on.
1975. Millennials, 1980.
Who's Generation X?
Gen
Me.
X.
Gen X.
Oh, Gen X.
Gen X is 1980, and then apparently
No.
millennials
Oh, right, because I'm just Gen X.
after that.
They have millennial X's too, but I'm just.
Too
Gen
much for
X.
me.
When we're
I'm
gonna
I'm
name the
probably
next
be a
one.
baby boomer.
Yeah.
Well, none of us got to pick.
Now,
So-
what do they call it prior to 46?
I
The
don't know.
greatest generation?
Ancient.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the greatest
Is
generation.
that what it
I-
is?
No,
Our
because,
parents.
no,
Yeah, our parents were third,
my mom
1930.
and dad were 42 and 43, and they were not, what is the greatest generation?
That's
They were like the 14,
The people that got through the Depression and raised their children
Right.
in the Depression were the greatest generation.
right,
That must have been 19.
Once World War II started, the Depression was over the United States.
right.
They were
So
mass
it had to
producing, they were
be-
mass producing war equipment at a rate that had never been produced at any point in the world, so
Yeah.
everybody was working.
Auto plants quit making cars and they built tanks and planes.
Sam Morgan's got a picture of the last Pontiac off the assembly line until after World War II.
At Cadillac, we got the car wash, 1942, they quit production, they only made 80 that year.
And you got a picture of that all the guys are standing around the car. It's the last car off the assembly line of Pontiac Motors.
And my grandfather
Oh,
was
Pontiac
a
Motors.
station
Yep.
master.
Okay,
in
the
Birmingham train
greatest
station.
generation,
Trains that go by.
27 and earlier.
All kinds of
well, 1910 to 1924.
That was the greatest generation.
That's what this site
My
is.
dad was born in 22.
And then the silence.
Yes, the silent.
I've never heard of
I
that.
hadn't heard that one either.
Silent generation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys, they have too many.
That's
What-
crazy.
What years was the
I
silent?
never heard of that.
1925 to 1945.
Really?
See, there's a
Would've been my
20-year, what was the first one? 10 to 20,
10 to
4.
24.
24, and then 25 to 45?
Right.
So you do a 14-year gap, then a 20-year gap. There's no even consistency in their numbers.
Well, different
people
sites
didn't
had
live as
different.
long Either.
Well, no, Christ, no, most of them were getting killed over in World War II.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they were killing them one right after
So
another.
I would think
so
you'd have
just-
to have so many people to get a generation. I don't know. I don't know how they quantify this.
What about the lost generation?
That's probably this generation.
It says the lost generation. I've never heard that term.
I have.
1890 to 1915.
Hmm.
No kid.
I've never heard that.
So that overlapped 5 years into the 1910 to 1924 then.
Yeah, it
There was
did.
a 5-year overlap there.
Wakefield, but Jim.
So how do you sort that out, that 5-year period there? They overlap each other?
How did those
What
people
do you
ever
flip a
become
coin and
anything?
decide which one was which there?
They were so
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, that's what's so neat about Mackinac Island, you could walk, we took the bikes around, we stopped at the cemetery, we set our bikes down, walked down,
Oh, aren't
all
you
these headstones.
fascinating?
I mean, I don't think, the oldest person who died was probably 30.
Yeah.
Nobody lived past 30 back in those days.
Well, you had diseases and stuff too, there was no cure for it.
They didn't have air conditioning and furnaces.
We were in Charleston and we're looking through the graves, and it was the
South
same
Carolina?
thing, yeah.
Oh, really?
But then you'd have somebody that like lived till 80, and you're like, holy cow, look what they survived.
Right. Oh, sure.
You know, how did they ever make it?
Well, my great-grandmother, she died in 80, she was 99 years old.
See, that's amazing, what she lived through.
Yeah. She saw, man on the moon, and I mean, it's just
The
phenomenal.
depression, the
Yeah,
wars, the boom, yeah,
My dad lived to 94 and a half.
yeah, same thing.
Anybody ever heard of Generation Z?
See?
I have,
Boomlets. Never heard of that.
That would be scary.
That's after 2001.
That's like, when I
oh,
was,
that is the new generation, that's right.
when
Yep.
I was growing up for forever, March 21st, June 21st, September 21st, and December 21st, spring, summer, fall, winter. Now you'll see it on the 20th, the 23rd, because some group at some university at 5:04 a.m. today, March 23rd, it's the first day of spring. No, sorry. Why would you put that much emphasis into trying to figure out something that was never broke, ever
Right.
in the history of the United States? They come up with, so this is this stuff here, they're sorting this up. We got generations overlapping each other
Oh,
by
this is
5 years and
marketing.
stuff.
Marketing uses this.
Yeah.
They have too much time on their hands.
No, we didn't have a spring this year, it went from winter to summer.
That's Michigan.
Felt pretty good this morning, 53 degrees.
It was beautiful. I was out 4:30 this morning.
How we doing time-wise?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah, we're supposed to get
5:30.
near 100
Pardon?
on
I was
Saturday
out
or Sunday.
at 5 to
Skiing?
Mid-90s, I heard.
Four.
Yeah, that's-
I was out
depends on
4:30.
Who you listen to.
4 to 6.
Bringing my coffee in my garage all by myself. I'm out there every 4:30 in the morning. Nice and quiet, I hear the birds sometimes. Yesterday I heard them in the pouring rain, they were chirping away at 4:30, it was pouring too.
I come out on the deck last night, there's a rabbit, you can't be bigger than that, he's right up underneath the mudroom window, he's
Baby?
sitting there, yeah, eyes closed, he's sound asleep.
Oh.
So I asked Donna to take some pictures of him when she started out, then he didn't do anything. The trouble is, it brought me a pain in the butt, adult rabbit,
Oh,
Yeah.
so,
I feel that way about the birds under our dock. They were babies,
yeah.
so I
What
don't
kind of
move.
bird, ducks or
They're
just?
wrens.
Oh,
Wrens?
Yeah.
Birds are okay, they don't eat your garden.
No, they won't. They will fall over your dock,
The
but
rabbits, just, I tell you, they just lift everything up. And it
Yeah.
invests a small fortune in Irish Spring soap to keep the deer away, and it just,
the deer haven't bugged my flowers this year, which is weird.
You can cure that, move down to the concrete jungle. You ever seen that? Did you see, I seen something on Facebook or something the other day, at the West Bloomfield Police Department, there was 4 coyotes right on their front lawn, somebody took a picture of it. 4
Wow.
coyotes,
Having
yeah.
a convention. huh?
They were just walking around
coyotes are
there.
thick.
They said those coyotes are
Thick.
really,
Had to be
Maybe they're
probably
trying to unionize.
right around 90, let me think, what year was it? Early 2000s. Woodward Cruise Saturday down in Birmingham, there was a coyote hit on Woodward Avenue.
Really?
During the Woodward Cruise.
Yeah.
wow.
I'm not saying a classic car hit it, but there was a dead coyote on Woodward in Birmingham, well, just coming out of
So
Birmingham.
they just keep coming and coming
Oh,
down.
they're
I mean,
everywhere.
I know they're all over the
They're
place.
here.
Have you heard any reports in Waterford, Gary?
Put some trail cameras out, you'll see them.
Oh,
Yeah.
then that next door neighbor, that people report saw a coyote over here, saw a coyote over here, watch your dog.
I've seen them on my street, I've seen them at the Raton Plains Nature Center.
I've seen them there.
I've seen them twice, I've seen one at the end of my street and seen one on the side street there
Really?
crossing.
Have you heard anything from the police department? I mean, any dogs or any animals getting attacked by any?
No, well, you know, typically they go after cats, because people have cats out, and the cats
Yeah.
run around, and that's.
Or the small dogs too? if
They
they
prey
go
on
out.
that. But the amount of rabbits around, I don't think there's too many coyotes right now.
Up in Ortonville,
But yeah, they're by,
Yeah.
attack dogs.
by our house, there was, people lived next door, used to have like 5 or 6 cats, and I never had rabbit fence around my gardens, nothing, you never saw rabbits, there's never around, but when they moved out, because cats are nest robbers, and they would get the babies. Once in a while, you see where a rabbit nest was, you know, they'll dig a hole and then bury it in your
Really?
yard, and then, you know, I get them just about, I have 2 in my backyard this year. But then the cats went away and the rabbits started multiplying.
Yeah, a couple of
I
months
saw
ago,
2
maybe.
fawns on motorway on my way into work today.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
I saw 3 bucks in the soccer field Saturday night, about 6:30, they come out of the timber.
Really?
And they were out there probably 150 yards, I could see racks on all 3 of them already. They're about
We
half
saw
grown,
one back
you
at
know.
the nature center on Friday. We just had like 2 openings.
Yeah. All fuzzy, so.
Yeah,
no
the major,
major.
yeah.
This one, he was out to his ears and wasn't done yet, so he's gonna be a good one. And the other 2, like I said, in 100, they went where
You
those
should give me the
bleachers are up
address where you
against the
go.
south side of the soccer fields. They went on just on this side of the bleachers. They
Where
went
do
in
you
the
think they're
timber.
living? On our property back there by
And the
the,
railroad right away and over at the nature center.
They live over the
and-
nature center.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When Mark leaves it for work.
up
5:30 in
behind
the morning.
Kettering.
There's usually
and
5 in the
Woods.
driveway.
okay.
Yeah, over here on Tubbs Road back in there.
We had one hit on Elizabeth Lake in front of the Waterford Party Store, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And, Oakland County, Road Commission actually came and scooped them up.
Um,
I don't know what they did with them, but.
Yeah, when I come back the other night from Wojo's, up in Brandon, there was, on Baldwin Road, there was 5 different dead deer on that road between,
I can see it up that area. up
between
there.
Indian Wood Road and Oakwood
Yeah.
Road was 5 dead deer up there in Brandon and Orion Township. We had 2016, we had 73 deer car accidents reported in Waterford
Well, I
Township.
remember that.
What year?
73, 2016, I didn't see the 17.
Wow.
2016, we had 73, and then the following spring, Zach and I were down at the Nature Center mushroom hunting, and we found a deer down there, and she had a broken,
No, okay. Yeah.
right by his house, she had a broken right leg and her ribs were busted up on the one side, so I know she got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And she either came from Crescent Lake Road back that far, or she came, now, did the person report that?
Oh, absolutely not.
And I, since I've been in office 2 or 3 times coming into work in the morning, I've seen deer on Hatchet Road that weren't dead. They'd been hit by cars, there was nobody around, and called the PD to come and, you know, put them down. But they had broken back or whatever, and they're laying there and just, but there's nobody there either, so did that get reported? I mean, who knows how many don't get reported? So, yeah, she had broken ribs and a broken leg, and that's
Yeah.
typical, you can tell, you know, because
Yeah,
laid
she
down.
just
right there.
crawled
Yeah,
and
just
laid there and died.
laid down and died right there, you know.
Yeah, one got hit on front of, almost like, came like the subway there a couple of years back, and, it was Matt Reed came out there and
Yeah,
put a couple holes in it, put it out of misery. And we had a guy that was a hunter, and he basically took it and was gonna bring it to, some children's village, not children's,
Yeah.
one of the places and donate the meat.
yeah.
No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt just, today, put a couple.
Yeah, we had 3 last year in Clintonville Road between, the first street over there by Lake Oakland and Premier and Lake Kansas Road back to the summer and fall. We had 3 different deer hit and killed there too. I see fox over there once in a while
Do
too.
you?
Yep, see every once in a while I see fox. You know. Yeah, that one guy there on the left hand side, he's got 8 acres there. And you look out in his yard, you'll see turkeys, you'll see fox, you'll see a coyote in his yard before you see deer down there. They got that big piece of property.
I've seen them run right in front of me on Tubbs Road here, right coming from the airport, the property over there. I mean, I've seen not just 1, 2, 3, 4, but a whole, I heard running across the street there. You know, it's early
They're
morning.
around. Oh,
Yeah.
they're around, there's a lot of them around here. That nature center's full of them.
Well, it should be there, it's nature.
Yeah.
They're home.
They're all, they're in their own backyard.
Okay,
All right. That was pretty easy.
So,
Painless.
we will open the board meeting, we'll make an motion to amend the agenda,
Okay.
okay? To remove the appointment of the trustee, a special board meeting on Thursday, the 28th,
3 p.m.
3 p.m.,
Okay.
same place.
Okay. Got it. Right,
So when you said that if we didn't do it on July 4th, Oakland County, what, the commissioners would?
Oakland County Election
Election,
Commission.
you got so much time to do
Oakland
it.
Election Commission does an appointment then.
How would they know who to appoint?
Okay, let me answer a question with a question. How do we know who to appoint?
You got resumes.
Right?
So for those resumes,
No, I don't
They
know.
must have, they must have a
I don't
process.
want it to go to that point, so.
We don't wanna find out what
Right,
their
I
process
just heard
is.
that, that was it. I didn't want to talk
That's
anymore.
a very
about
good
it.
question, because, yeah, you're right, how would they,
Who knows who Lisa would pick?
no, it's not Lisa, it'd be Joe Roselle. She's an elections.
But again, like I
Lisa's
said,
clerk.
you know, resumes are like people campaigning, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't let your mouth write checks that the taxpayers' butts can't cover. Just always remember that, you know what I'm saying? Don't, I mean, people, oh, they're gonna do this and do that, do this and do that, and do this and that. Well, there's limitations to what you can do. But what you can do, you do wanna do, you know what I'm saying? So, people we interviewed, talked to, went over it and stuff. We had very good candidates. We had some very good candidates. Good, solid people, good ideas. You know, and start out, they care enough to volunteer for it, you know, and you need to possibly explain, there's other boards, there's other commissions, there's other committees that board members have to sit on, it's a requirement. And it's, you know, and then the budget meetings, the preliminary budget meetings, when there's 3 of us with department heads, and then the public budget meetings, and all 7 of us were there, and we're deciding the budget for the next calendar year, there's decisions that have to be made, there's input that needs to be. And you take the
Those are
same oath of
long
office as
days.
a full-time elected do, and you have the same voting power as a full-time elected. So the fact that it's just a part-time position, okay, it is, but it's beyond that. Like I said, you got the preliminary budget meetings, you got the budget meetings, you got boards, you know, all the stuff. So I pointed it out to them, and most of them didn't understand, was that, you know, there was that much time involved. So,
A lot of people just think, hey, twice a month, I can do an hour,
yeah.
2 hours a month,
Right.
get paid and bam, I'm gone. But you know what, we get our agendas Thursday, you better do your homework over the weekend.
Right.
And I've seen other board members, a couple of boards before that was on, came and got their packet at 6 o'clock.
Before the board meeting, I walked
Are you
down.
kidding me?
Looked to see how
Really?
somebody else voted and their hand came up with
Yeah,
them, so.
but there's a lot more until the people really realize, and when you probably do the interview, they say, well, you know, maybe this isn't what I was really looking for.
Yeah.
I wanted something part-time.
Okay, and all the other stuff that we doubled up on the work sessions, we're gonna go back to second board meetings of the month.
As of today,
Yeah,
so,
we're caught up again.
so next one will be next month.
I can't say anything coming up pressing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is gonna be short term, or you have to know about anything real quick.
Okay.
Like if we do, then we can have we can call a work session,
Yeah.
but right now, we're back to the second board meeting of the month, and we will not have a work session in December, so. We only get the one board meeting.
Right.
We'll have enough stuff going on with the budget, and getting that in place. So,
Okay.
go
Yeah, I
from
got
there.
that on my calendar, 17th, that's the 21st September.
Oh, what?
Budget meetings?
Well, whatever Shelley sent out, their preliminary budget meetings, the regular budget meetings are end of October, early November. I know they're before deer season, I can tell you that, but the exact dates. But she sent them out right after budget
She
last
did,
year.
I remember it's not on.
When-
Yeah, I've got
when
it
is it?
on my computer calendar. I can email it to you.
Yeah,
I
please
don't
do.
wanna- I don't wanna
Shelley
say
sent
it
them
all at
out,
once.
because she couldn't make it last year, so she made
Yeah.
it crystal clear to send it out a year in advance, so.
I don't have it
That's
on
why
my
I put it on my
calendar.
calendar. so
Email it
I
to you, will you?
Sure.
I'm going to Minnesota on the 12th of September to the.
But I think those are the preliminary.
Yeah, the preliminary budget said, you know, it's a half a day,
Right.
you know, for 2 or 3 departments, yeah.
I didn't realize that when we booked the trip to go see my in-laws. So yeah, please email me. And I'll work around it.
And again, Shelley will talk to you at that time, want to find out what, if you want to stay with the same ones, the ones you're familiar with, you know what I'm saying, the budget you're familiar
Or
with. you know,
switch them up.
The preliminary, or you want to switch them around or
Oh,
whatnot,
okay, good idea.
so.
It was an idea of other departments.
Yep, you get to see other departments, you know, they presented it, and again, we're gonna have them, your necessities list and your Christmas list. Separate them out and not combine them. So,
Are we doing an employee picnic this year?
mhm,
That'd be good.
yep,
August 12th?
That's
Has
a.
there been a date set? I
That
didn't know.
has-
I don't know
has
what the date's
Hathaway-
No, it was,
That's
Shelley
Hathaway.
sent it out.
That's Hathaway, yeah.
that's that,
Usually
yep.
is.
Number 1 pavilion,
Went last year.
number 1 pavilion,
I really enjoyed it.
lot of good food,
Sure
good time to eat.
Yeah, you do a good job on that grill.
All right.
Marinating the chicken about 2 days prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 actually.
3, is it?
Yeah,
I think there was a lot left over last year.
pull it out and stab it and get it to soak in there.
Hey,
Oh, man,
but
that's
there's
good
not left
stuff.
over, you don't really bring the police station, fire station,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
anything
sure,
else?
why not?
Yeah, the chicken was gone last year, it was hot dogs and brats and hamburgers left over, but the chicken was gone. I went to get some and
Well,
I
that's-
was cooking and it was gone.
That's a very popular,
Yeah, it's good.
Dish.
it's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some dishes that people are getting used to there now, they want people to bring
Like
them.
chicken.
every year. Bring this, bring that.